Welcome to the Carmelite Quotes Podcast, where we share Carmelite wisdom to encourage and inspire. Today, in our Marie du Jour series, we honor the Blessed Virgin Mary with insights from St. Teresa of the Andes. We'll explore an excerpt from her intimate spiritual diary, written on February 22nd, 1919. St. Teresa of the Andes writes, "I'm in meditation. Our Lord told me I should meditate on the purity of the Virgin. She, without saying anything to me, began to speak. I didn't recognize her voice and asked if it was Jesus. She answered me that our Lord was within my soul, but that she was speaking to me. She told me I should write down what she was telling me about purity. First, to be pure in thought. That is to say, I should reject any thought that's not from God, so I'd constantly be living in His presence. For this, I must strive to have affection for no creature. Second, to be pure in my desires, in such a way that I desire only to belong to God more each day, to desire His glory, and to be a saint and perform all my deeds with perfection. To this end, never to desire either honor or praise, but to be despised and undergo humiliations, since in this way I am pleasing to God. To desire no comforts or anything that flatters my senses. To desire neither to eat nor sleep, but only to serve God better. Third, to be pure in my deeds, to abstain from all that can defile me, and from all that is not permitted by God who seeks my sanctification. To do all things for God as best I can, not before creatures are looking at me. To avoid every word that's not spoken for God and for His glory. In my conversations, always bring in something about God. I'm to look at nothing without necessity, but contemplate God in His works. To imagine that God is always looking at me. In my tastes, to abstain from what is pleasing to self. If I eat anything, I should take no delight in it, and I should offer it to God, because for me it is necessary to serve Him better. I should mortify my sense of touch by not touching myself without necessity, or any other person. In a word, my whole spirit should be immersed in God in such a way that I forget my body completely. Mary lived this way since she was born, but it was much easier for her since she was always full of grace. I should do all on my part to imitate her, since by doing so, God will unite Himself intimately to me. I should pray to obtain this grace. In this way, I'll reflect God who is in my soul." St. Teresa of the Andes shares a profound meditation on the purity of the Virgin Mary, highlighting the virtues of purity in thought, desires, and deeds. Let's dive deeper into each of these points to understand how we can apply them in our own lives. First, purity in thought. St. Teresa emphasizes the importance of rejecting any thought that is not from God, striving to constantly live in His presence. This requires vigilance over our minds and a deliberate effort to focus our thoughts on what is holy and uplifting. By doing so, we create an interior space where God can dwell and guide us. As St. Teresa of Avila and Brother Lawrence would say, keeping God present is what we of ourselves can do. Second, purity in desires. The Virgin Mary calls us to desire only to belong to God more each day, to seek His glory and to aspire to sainthood through our actions. St. Teresa of the Andes tells us this means letting go of worldly honors, comforts, and praise, embracing humility and self-denial instead. By aligning our desires with God's will, we open ourselves to deeper spiritual growth and intimacy with Him. Third, purity in deeds. St. Teresa instructs us to follow the Virgin's example and to abstain from anything that can defile us, and to do everything for God alone, not for human recognition. This includes our words, actions, and even our sensory experiences. By living this way, we imitate Mary, who lived in perfect purity and grace, fully devoted to God's will. In doing so, we invite God's presence into our lives more profoundly and reflect His love to the world around us. Thank you for joining us today. We appreciate your support and encourage you to share this podcast with your friends and subscribe for more inspirational content. A special thanks to everyone who has responded to our daily questions and sent encouraging messages through the blog. For more information about St. Teresa of the Andes and her spiritual journey, you could visit icspublications.org to find the book, God, the Joy of My Life. It's the biography of St. Teresa of the Andes with her spiritual diary, and Father Michael D. Griffin was the translator. Also, you could visit our website for more quotes by and about St. Teresa of the Andes. Just visit carmelitequotes.blog. As always, there's a special thanks that goes to Sean Beeson for the beautiful music. And as we strive for purity in our thoughts, desires, and deeds, let's remember St. Teresa of the Andes' example and seek to live in God's presence, following the Virgin Mary's immaculate purity. Blessings from Carmel.